The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your coffee time crew.
Well, good Thursday morning, everyone. And as always, welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. Got the full crew back with me again today. So good morning, Carol and Pedro.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Los Angeles. I'm back. Ain't no lie, over there, 110 degrees.
Well, I mean, what do you expect out in the middle of the desert?
Yeah, it gets pretty hot there. It was 114 when I was there. It's hot, hot.
I was looking at some on YouTube the other day showing the history of Vegas, and when they first started, it was just that a lake they had out there. That's where people stopped to get water.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the native Indians from that area, that used to be one of their migration spots, and then, it grew from that part. But anyway, today we got one interest group, and George is going to be, he changed the name up there a bit. So for those that, what happened to, the Art of Podcaster? Well, he just changed the name up because he's trying to introduce folks to some newer technology that's out there that he finds very useful. And I mean, I see where it is. It's called Guide. It's actually a system that you can, desktop app that you can use that you can actually, it's an AI model.
Well, let George explain when he, if you want to know more, come join our class.
Right. Well, but again, I do understand that it is an AI program that you can go in and you can just tell it what you want it to do, and then it'll go through whatever your request that you gave it, prompt, and then perform those tasks for you. So anyway, again, it's something new. He's going to be doing some demos on it tonight. So anybody that's interested coming in, it is a paid subscription. So just so you know, I think it's about $8 a month. But if you're on the internet a lot and you use the internet a whole lot, it does help you get tasks performed within inaccessible website. So that's why we're kind of trying to feature this. So, but anyway, so we're going to jump into these articles right quick. This first one is about autonomous vehicles and ride shares and stuff like that, regulations and stuff like that that's coming down. So check this out.
Hey Blind United crew, grab your first cup as the Coffee Time crew gets into this first article. A future once imagined only in science fiction is rapidly approaching as autonomous or self-driving vehicles move closer to becoming a part of our daily lives. This week, the Federal Transit Administration took a significant step in shaping that future by proposing a new set of rules specifically designed to govern autonomous rideshare services. This isn't just a story about technology. It's a landmark conversation about independence and equity. For decades, the blind and visually impaired community has relied on a patchwork of public transit, paratransit, and conventional ride-sharing options, each with its own set of challenges. The prospect of a truly autonomous vehicle network represents a potential paradigm shift, a future where hailing a ride and traveling to a destination could be as seamless and independent for a blind person as it is for anyone else. These proposed regulations are the first critical step in ensuring that this new era of transportation is built with accessibility at its core, rather than as an afterthought. The draft proposal from the FTA focuses on several key areas that are vital for non-visual access. A major point of discussion is the user interface for hailing and managing a ride. The rules would likely mandate that all associated apps be fully compliant with screen reader technology, but they also address the need for alternative methods, such as phone-based systems, for those who may not use a smartphone. Another critical area is vehicle-to-passenger communication. How does a blind rider identify the correct vehicle when it arrives? The proposed rules suggest standardized audio cues and the ability for the vehicle to communicate its status directly to the user's device. Inside the vehicle, the regulations would address the need for accessible controls, tactile buttons for essential functions like starting the trip or requesting assistance, and clear audio announcements for trip progress and arrival. Perhaps the most important aspect of this announcement is the FTA's call for a public comment period. This is a formal invitation for individuals and advocacy groups to provide feedback, share personal experiences, and help shape the final legislation. It is a crucial opportunity for the blind community to make its voice heard, ensuring that the regulations are robust and address the real-world needs of non-visual travelers. This is where advocacy becomes action. By contributing to the conversation, we can help ensure that the final rules mandate features that will guarantee safety, reliability, and true independence. This development illustrates how technology and policy can intersect to create a more equitable and accessible world. What is the single most important feature an autonomous vehicle would need for you to feel confident using it? We'd love to hear them. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Well, for me personally, I have not yet been in one of these vehicles. I know Pedro's been in them a few times. I know Carol got hers, reservations about riding in one of these cars. Myself personally, I've been waiting on it. I mean, I would love to have that type of thing. I would love to own one of these types of cars, just because it, gives you that freedom back to be able to get in your car and go where you want to go when you want to go, right? I mean, as far as as a like a ride share thing, a Lyft or Uber or whatever, it might be a new platform, such as the one that Pedro and them be talking about down in L.A. I don't forgot the name of it already. Waymo. But again, they're really good things to have. I mean, again, this just expanding, our independence, and sometimes hell is might be cheaper for them to operate a fleet of autonomous vehicles versus a fleet of where people are signing on as gig workers, and stuff like that. It just makes that many more rides, vehicles available for use, or expand on how many drivers they might have. Okay, well we got just as a number, let's say we got 100 vehicles. Well, now we can add another 50 of these autonomous vehicles, and now we can cover that many more rides. For the business model that they've got laid out, hey, of course, it's a hell of an investment, the cost of the vehicle, with all the autonomous software and programming that goes into that. But at the same time, uh, they get all the money. They don't have to share it with nobody. So I think it's a good thing myself personally, and I'm looking forward to it when they're available to use everywhere. So, what do you need, Kel, for you to feel comfortable using these types of vehicles? Did I lose y'all?
No, I'm right here.
Okay,
You
well,
hear?
we must have lost Carol. So go ahead, go with it, Pedro.
Yes. Well. Yeah. I jumped in a couple of them. They've been good and stuff like that. I jumped in. It was a different experience. People were taking pictures and all that, but they had good audible cues. You could say. I guess I was able to make the car honk. The application would tell me how much feet I'm from the car. I know the application had warned me the car will be on the other side of the street because the car dictates and parks wherever it believes it's the safest place for it. So I remember I had to go across the street and all that. So that might be something we can advocate if they can get to the closest area where we're at. You know, I know sighted person could just, oh, it's over there across the street. Let me jaywalk. But I'm not willing to take that chance as a blind person. They're jaywalking tickets as well. But I'll rather go walk to the light, walk across, even though it's a longer path, but a safe one. But that may be something to work on. I wonder if you're on a resort, would it come in into the front and park right there in the front door, like to pick up? That's another thing. Um,
But I thought when all of the stuff I've seen on Waymo, and when they were at the various conventions describing what Waymo and all this other kind of stuff, my understanding was that it would know to especially when I guess there was something in there where you're supposed to let it know that you're disabled, blind, whatever the case may be, but that it would actually not do that. It would go and go around the block and come to the side of the street you were on, so that make it easier for you to be able to find the vehicle.
yeah, I haven't. That's an option they might have updated at that time. They did not have. That was an option they were thinking of doing. But just from my experience, it happened to me
Right,
multiple
right.
times.
I mean, I get, like you said, you can blow the horn on it so you know where it's at, and all this
Hmm.
other kind of stuff, But again, the app is definitely going to need to be, very, very accessible, uh, uh, for us to be able to use it. I mean, that's a very important thing. Uh, I guess that other thing that they were talking about within the article, I guess also a kind of hotline or whatever customer service line, whatever you can call in. But for those that don't necessarily, who doesn't have a smartphone in today's world. But I do know that that is a thing. There are some people out there still walking around with
Well,
phones that belong in the Smithsonian Institute. So,
well,
uh,
I didn't have a phone this weekend and stuff. It's tough when everything requires a phone. I was trying to log into my social media on my computer. It told me go on your phone and click the notification to approve this device. I don't. What about I don't have a phone? What about I just come in through my computer all the time? You know.
right,
Um,
but because,
so
and I would say on that note, because you've already been in with your smartphone, that you
yes,
can't
but
tell it you don't have one, right?
this is what it
So,
said. It didn't say phone. It said go to your other device. Yeah, that's probably it too. What you're saying, but not just that. Even if you want to get into certain organizational accounts and you go through some of these apps, you gotta authenticate yourself. And if you are one of those people that have the new type of flip phones, because yes, people still have old flip phones, but there's new flip phones that have been created for those people that don't want a screen all the time. And these flip phones are newer, and people love to use them because less time on the phone, less time on these apps. And there is people that like that. And sometimes these applications won't work with some of those systems. But that aside, we do need these applications to be accessible and be able to all the controls be labeled, all the buttons and all that to be labeled, and also a design that companies need to be aware of: simplicity. Make it simple to use, and people will gravitate to your application. You know, way more. I like what they've done. You know, with the you're able to lock all doors and just have one unlock. You're able to honk the horn. When you hop in there, it says welcome, and you have to press a button on your phone to start the ride. So if you're not ready, you can just come in, lock all doors, and until you put your seatbelt, and then you get comfortable, you can start the ride. And you get audible cues. Yeah, you do. It'd be like, oh, pedestrians, so aware about pedestrians, so it slows down. You know, uh, the only thing will be pretty cool if it tells you how far you're from your destination. Let's say if it says, "Oh, we're 1 mile away. Make sure you this and that, or I'm about to pull over in 30 seconds or in a minute." You know, little cues like that. It does give you audible cues though. You know, and,
Yeah, I
and
mean, but if you remember also in the article, Pedro, it said that they are making it a requirement that you have tactile buttons or something within the
yes.
vehicle as well.
Hmm.
Again, I mean, again, of course, we want to do everything. Like we just said, you're damned if you got your phone and you're damned if you don't. But bottom line, we prefer to use our phone. But for those that don't necessarily have a smartphone, at
Yeah.
least when the ride gets there, I guess you got to sit in a particular seat per se to have access to those buttons. But you know, and then hopefully they're in a way that standard, hopefully universal, to where we know, okay, this button is for this button is for that. One is going to start the ride, the other one is okay, where we at. You know what I'm saying? Maybe another one is keep me notified as we progress. That kind of stuff. So again, having a set of controls
Well, the,
within the
the
car as well is going to be a help.
yeah, they do have controls within the car. Um, the thing is, the controls in the back are touchscreen, and that's why that was good that the article pointed that out because yes, um, I was not able to control the air conditioning from the app. Let's say for the back, um, we had some music. We were able to control some music, but you were limited to music being on Google or something like that. You know,
Okay.
but yeah, they need more work. They're there though. You know, getting used to a self-driving vehicle might be a little hard for some people because I know when I was with my better half and we were pulling out from a parking lot, the vehicle jerks a little forward to let the other cars know he wants to pull in. Like normal vehicles do. But since it's kind of robotic, it doesn't do it so smoothly. At least if they could smooth that little part out instead of jerking a little forward and you kind of jerk a little, you know, probably would be a little better. What else? More audible cues. They gave us some information, but let's say we turn on a street, it would just say right turn, turning right, but it wouldn't indicate the street. I like to kind of know the street, because like that, I'm aware where I'm at. I like to know,
Right.
be aware.
No, I agree about all of that. I mean, again, I want to know exactly where I'm at. Making a right on Crenshaw or whatever the case may
Hmm.
be. Or now making a right turn, heading north, heading south, whatever. Whatever. Again, as blind folks, we want as much description as we can get. We want to get as the more detail you give us, the more comfortable we feel. So having all of that information available to us, just okay, at least we know it's going in the right direction, all of this other kind of stuff. And again, it makes sense that again, it's trying to nose out and or is letting other people know, but at the same time, we know how people are. Oh no, you're not jumping in front of me, and then they go forward, and now it's causing the car itself to lunge. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Because the
Yeah.
sensors now picks up that car is still moving, is not pausing to let them come in. So I mean, all
Yes.
that stuff makes a lot of sense. Did you add
Yeah.
Kel back?
I have an editor. Can you? I'm in the one button for the upcoming break, so it's gonna be hard to navigate back and forth very quick. But that aside, yes, and people might be a little concerned about crashes and things like that. 9 out of 10, all human drivers were the ones that caused the incident. The only time the car had a problem, it pulled over and stopped. It kind of stopped in a crowd when I think when a protest was happening, and the car just stopped and stayed there because it detected so much people, so it
Right.
just shut down. But that was not even an accident or anything like that. It was more like a issue that happened, and they probably worked through it. But mostly it's human error when a crash happens with one of these autonomous vehicles. I haven't seen this car speed, make any type of foul movement. It warns you when it senses pedestrians and stuff like that. So, it was a smooth ride. You know
Right.
what I mean?
All right. Well, we at the end of this one. Welcome back, Carol.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
We're gonna jump into this promos, and then we can get into our second article for the day.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United. Blind United.
Have you ever wondered what it's really like to be blind? Ever wanted to ask questions but held back, afraid of offending? Blind United invites you to replace that fear with fun, learning and connection at our 4th annual Walk a Mile in My Shoes challenge. Join us Saturday, October 11th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Wayfinder Family Services, 50 Huntington Angeles, Vista Boulevard, Los Angeles. Experience everyday attacks blindfolded, like pouring a cup of water. Try assistive technology like screen reader computers and iPhones. Get a hands-on braille lesson and discover how independence is built every day. Smile, laugh, and learn alongside the blind community. No pressure, just pleasure. Help us build bridges, close gaps, and make connections. Walk a mile in my shoes and see the world in a whole new way.
All right. Well, again, we got our Walk a Mile coming up October the 11th. Walk a Mile in My Shoes Challenge, and it's going to be hosted by the Wayfinder Family Services down in LA. So again, really, really nice area down there where we're going to be doing this at. So, but yeah, grab your friends, family members that just don't get it, they don't understand, and bring them down there. We're going to teach them how to understand. They're going to get a real, no pun intended, eye-opening experience as to what it's like to live life as a blind person. So, right quick, Paul popped in, says good morning to all. So, good morning, Paul.
Morning, Paul.
Good morning,
And then,
Paul.
so there's been some movement in research and stuff like that. So, there's gene therapy. I mean, gene therapy has been around for a minute now, anyway. But now they're starting some gene therapy, helping folks that have certain retinal issues, as far as their vision and stuff. So check this out, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Hey, Blind United crew, grab your next cup as the Coffee Time crew gets into this second article. In the world of medical science, there are moments that represent a profound leap forward, shifting our understanding of what is possible. This week, we witnessed one of those moments as the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, officially approved a new gene therapy designed to treat a rare form of inherited retinal disease. This headline is more than just a news item. For many, it's a beacon of hope. For years, the conversation around many genetic forms of vision loss has been centered on management and adaptation. This breakthrough represents a shift towards intervention at the most fundamental level, our DNA. While this specific therapy is targeted at one particular rare condition, its approval is a landmark achievement that validates the entire field of ocular gene therapy, potentially unlocking doors to future treatments for a wider range of genetic conditions that affect vision. Gene therapy works by addressing the root cause of a disease. Many inherited retinal conditions are caused by a mutation in a single gene, which prevents the body from producing a protein essential for vision. This new therapy works by delivering a correct copy of that faulty gene directly to the retinal cells. The process is incredibly precise and is the result of decades of painstaking research. It is not a cure for all forms of blindness, and it's important to frame it with realistic expectations. Its effectiveness is limited to individuals with a confirmed diagnosis of this specific genetic mutation. However, the success of this treatment serves as a powerful proof of concept, demonstrating that this approach can work safely and effectively. It sends a clear message to the scientific community that investing in this line of research can yield life-changing results. The approval of this therapy underscores the growing importance of genetic testing and counseling for those in the blind and low vision community. Knowing the specific cause of one's vision loss can be empowering, providing clarity and, in a growing number of cases, opening up possibilities for participation in clinical trials or eligibility for new treatments as they become available. This news also highlights the vital role of community advocacy in driving scientific progress. The research and development for treatments like this are often funded by a combination of government grants, private investment, and the passionate fundraising efforts of nonprofits and patient advocacy groups. This breakthrough is a testament to the power of a community united in its pursuit of a better future. What are your thoughts when you hear about these kinds of medical advancements? We'd love to hear them. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Well, I mean, I'm really excited for the people that this is definitely going to help, right? And I do, understand, now that I am part of the community and talking with different folks, throughout the years, a lot of the issues where people became blind are based on, genetics, right? I mean, one in particular I know right off the top is retinitis pigmentosus. I mean, I know, where folks were pretty much the whole family's got it. You know what I'm saying? And they all have to deal with it in their own way. And they have it all at different levels, but just to have something that, you can now do to help, curb that or slow it down or maybe even reverse it, hopefully, where these folks won't lose their vision or at least be able to retain most of their vision. I mean, it's a plus. I mean, I'm with it. Anything that's going to help somebody in the community, I'm down for it. I always say that. I mean, if I had money, I'd donate to that, right? Simply because it may not help me in my situation, but it's definitely going to help a large number of folks in the community. So again, I'm down for helping anybody in the community, whatever helps them, have a better life, whether that's saving their vision or whatever the case may be. I'm just down with trying to help, others do better. So anyway, go for it, Kel.
I mean, I agree with you, and I have participated in a lot of those organizations, the Retina Foundation, the Glaucoma Foundation, the Foundation Fighting Blindness. I have retinitis pigmentosa, but what took my sight was glaucoma, which came about later. I now know I was evidently born with retinitis pigmentosa. Now, my great-grandfather was blind. He could have had it or glaucoma. I don't know. I know my mother had glaucoma. And, all of those things are gene related. But if there's anything out there that can definitely help, whether it be from the front of the eye, the cornea, or the retina in the back, do what you can to try to, as best, help what any any individual that's out there that needs some form of help, because that's just what we need to be, not so much as a guinea pig, but a lot of the scientific stuff that's out there is very expensive. The eye is very delicate, and to be able to go in there and try to work with the rods and cones with the retina, or different cells and nerve endings and things of that sort at the front of the eye to make vision stay longer. I mean, they're already working on technology, so I know that this is just a step forward. But advocating and trying to say we need funds to make sure that future individuals can keep their sight as long as they can, because you don't really miss it until you lose it, and you don't realize how important it is until you lose it. Yes, we managed to do our best now that we don't have it, and those who have never had it, but they're always advancing technology. I mean, look at the deaf community. Hearing aids are not as big and bulky like they used to be. They're just about invisible, but they can help individuals. And then you have, people who actually have surgery. Uh, so to try to, make their hearing better. So why not try to put more funds and advocate for vision and all of these different types of the diseases, try to get into the core of it at the beginning, and maybe you can stop the progression of it. Who knows what the future holds? But they're not going to be able to do that without money, without application of trying to at least help the future with the eyes that we have, uh, that are still out there that can be saved.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree. And there's, on that note, I just want to throw this out there. Uh, you know, People always, oh, well, taxes this, taxes this. How you beat taxes? You can send your money where you want it to go. You can donate to these nonprofits that are doing this kind of research, or even a nonprofit like us. I mean, we're not
Mm-hmm.
doing the research, but bottom line, when you donate to these nonprofits, guess what? You get to write that off on your taxes. Now you got a deduction. Rather, so that's money that you sent to where you want it to go, rather than just giving it to the government and let them do whatever they want to do with it, like buy a brand new refurbished jet.
Or send bombs overseas that way you
That's
don't want them
gold
to get
now.
sent.
All of that kind of good stuff. So, but anyway, go for it, Pedro.
Yes, this research has been going on across the world. I am glad that I'm seeing it come to the United States. England has been doing some studies like this. Me being a child from a mom, and my, I guess, sperm donor had that mutated gene. So me and my other sibling retained, the disease RP. And two differences that I noticed between me and my sibling is that my sibling had to go through doctors putting like lasers to measure and see what's wrong, and putting different lighting. And when you throw so much things at the eye, like light and lasers and things like that, you're burning off the retina. You're actually damaging that person's eye. I didn't go through none of that, and I had almost perfect vision. Like, although I did lost my one of my other eyes from an accident, but I was born with RP, and I was able to see, like, completely see, you know. And one thing that my mother did is not put me and let the doctors get a hold of me and try to do all this stuff in the 80s that kind of believe damaged my siblings' eyes. And she didn't put me through that, and I retained most of my vision, you know. But I am glad to see this type of research coming to the United States, because I've been talking to my children, especially my adult children, that they will have to go to a genealogist to test out their genes with their partner. And I don't want them to dictate who they fall in love with by if they have that gene or not, or if they're gonna have a kid or not, because
Mm-hmm.
that partner has that gene. So uh, having this gene therapy and they could prevent it even from being in the next generation, I am all for it. And that they could prevent it or even prevent my vision to go completely dark, I'm for it too, because I have I don't have shade, nothing, but I could see some light on the sides, and sometimes it's nice to see a little light, even though I can't tell what it is. I can't tell no color. But one of my things coming up is that I'm noticing my eyesight is going completely dark. You know,
Hmm.
and and when I navigate, I keep my eyes closed because that all that light messes with me, and it seems like I'll be trying to travel by the light, and it's not cool. So sometimes I just close my eyes and do my cane skills and all that. But I like to sometimes try to see the side, a little bit of light. I can't tell the color or nothing, but it's nice. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
also, and seeing back how my sibling and I were growing up together and all that. My sibling has more of a tunnel type vision, where I lost all my central vision, and
Oh
my
wow.
peripheral is just like one little spot, but it's just the light, and everything else is black around. You know,
Right.
on that eye, and then the other eye for my accident, I see gray, like if I'm seeing through a cloudy fishbowl. You know.
I mean, again, we could sit and go because even myself, I mean, of course, my vision's all the way gone. Mine is not due to a disease. All mine is due to an accident. But my point being, because I say my theory is because I've had vision, my mind is constantly trying to produce images. So, I mean, even as I'm sitting here talking, it's like a black and gray kind of cloudy situation where the clouds are moving and creating different shapes and so on and so forth. But what I do know is, from that progression of losing my sight, you know, we oftentimes will adapt to what sight we have and we can excel with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what messes us up is, as our vision is fading, sometimes our mind does not realize how much it has faded till we do
Mhm.
something stupid and say, wait a minute, I thought I seen that. Well, no, you did.
Mhm.
But
Right.
you thought you seen it. But anyway, yeah, no, I mean, I know again what people operating with, like I said, blindness is not a one. We're not all in one box. There's a spectrum of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, it
Yes.
goes from high partials where you would probably never even know that person was blind, all the way, to total darkness, right? And every place in between.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
again, trying to,
But
get
that's
a
another thing, Ed, right there. We need better classification. We have high partial and low partial. I think we need to have a mid partials tier as well.
well, I mean, again, if you're going to break it down to the full spectrum, you know what I'm saying, then it would be, 100 on one end and zero on the other end, and then wherever the percentage you're at in the middle, uh,
Mm-hmm.
to better classify, right?
Right.
Okay, well, I got 75% vision, I got 80% vision, I got 50% vision. But then
Mhm.
again, even within that, you got subcategories where, like you said, you got. I mean, some folks have all peripheral and no central. Then you got other folks that have all central and no peripheral. You know,
Right. Right.
so it's such a big spectrum, right? That is there's not a one thing fit fix all for all of it. It's just not there. Again, because there's also many different reasons.
Mhm.
Whether it's the retinitis pigmentosus, whether it's Stargard's, whether it's you know
Glaucoma.
Glaucoma or
I mean
magna degeneration.
all of
Yes.
that. I mean, there's just so many different things that can cause a person to go blind. So
Mhm.
again, But the fact that those things that are genetic, they can now possibly be, treated. Man, I'm just happy for all of that. I
Oh
really
yeah.
am.
Also,
Oh
also we
yeah.
did an
And,
article, right, that they were talking about able to change the eye, the entire eye if you have nerve damage. They were doing studies on that and they were being successful. So that's
hmm,
another part of that might be coming out later, you know?
Right.
Remember
right.
the article?
They're working on doing a lot of that kind of stuff. We did an article on that once before. I mean, they actually did a full eye transplant.
Mm-hmm.
The eye did have life in it. It was
Hmm.
maintaining normal pressure. It's just at the time that we did the article, they had not gotten any vision, but the eye was, per
Functioning.
se, working.
Successfully
Yeah,
transplanted
so
and wow.
all of that. So
But
anyway,
what you had, oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
now go ahead and ask your question, and we're gonna move on.
No, what you had described earlier is, like some people who were born blind, they don't see things like what you had described earlier. It's like when you've seen and you lose your sight, like what you described, clouds and things like that. I still
Mm-hmm.
can see, but not out of my eyes. My mind is creating pictures
Right,
as I sit, as long as
Okay.
I'm
right,
awake.
and again, that's the thing that our mind does.
Yes.
We can't see anything, but our
No.
mind just gives us. It, I guess it's almost like entertaining itself. It has to
It's
process the,
moving. That's the weird thing.
But
It's
that's what I
yeah,
moving.
used to kind of map things too, though. I start picturing my eyes like a map. I start picturing it, like seeing it, you know?
Right. Right.
Not
well,
all detail, but like a layout, a little layout, you know?
I
Hmm.
mean, ain't none of mine I can use for anything navigating or nothing. It's
So
Oh
I
just
no, no,
can't
no.
see nothing at all. I can't see nothing at all. I'm just paint the picture
right,
in my mind, you
right.
know?
Well, all right. Well, let's move on. Get a couple more promos in because
Hmm.
I'm excited about this last article. So let's get these promos out the way. Did you know Blind United offers free training in assistive technology? We call them interest groups. We offer training in JAWS, NVDA, iPhone, iPad, as well as Meta Ray Bans. We also have groups like support group, cooking groups, and crafting groups. There are also groups for entertainment like movie night and RS game night. For more information about all the interest groups that we offer, just email us at info@blindunited.org or visit our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Group. We would love to have you be part of the Blind United crew.
Hey, coffee time crew, we got something new. Support the mission and look fresh too. Fresh rock that blue with the logo in white. Blind United shirts, yeah, they feeling right. Just 20 dough and you're part of the cause. Helping blind folks level up, no pause calls. From Jaws with Andy to Hard Ace Tips. Support group love and crochet kits. Movie nights rolling, the vibes are lit. Every shirt you buy helps all of it. So cop that tee, be proud to wear. You're lifting up lives with every pair. Email us now, don't let it slide. Info@Blind United or join the pride.
Well, again, right quick, purchasing a T-shirt, royal blue with a white logo on it. That's a great way to help support what Blind United is doing. So, again, reach out. Order form is always on our correspondence that we send out to everybody. So, hey, I would really appreciate it. Everyone that purchased one of these T-shirts. So, Paul was making a statement that again, regardless of what your vision thing is, once you reach that 2200, or in my case, 10200, because I only had one eye. But anyway, it was you're legally blind. It's just that simple, and then it becomes into the now we're on that other spectrum, right? Because there's another spectrum before you become legally blind, uh, where they can still correct it with corrective lenses. But anyway, This next one, man, is something I was actually just talking about. We were talking about one of our articles. I can't remember if it was early this week or last week, but man, this is one that I can't wait to come about. Check this out.
Hey, Blind United crew, grab your last cup as the Coffee Time crew gets into this final article. Navigating a bustling city street is an act of complex calculation, relying on a symphony of sounds, environmental cues, and spatial awareness. For years, the primary tool for non-visual street crossing has been the familiar audible pedestrian signal. But now, a new wave of urban planning is set to transform our sidewalks from passive concrete pathways into active, intelligent environments. This week, several major U.S. cities announced ambitious new pilot programs to integrate smart technology directly into their pedestrian infrastructure. This initiative moves beyond simple beeps and chirps, envisioning a network of connected devices designed to create a safer and more navigable urban landscape for everyone, with a particular focus on the needs of blind and low-vision pedestrians. It's a forward-thinking approach that treats accessibility not as a separate feature, but as a fundamental component of a modern, efficient city. So, what does a smart sidewalk actually look like? The proposed plans involve a multi-layered system. It starts with upgraded accessible pedestrian signals, APS, that do more than just make a sound. They can communicate directly with a pedestrian's smartphone. Imagine approaching an intersection and receiving a vibration or a custom audio alert on your phone letting you know the crosswalk light has changed. The plans also include the installation of advanced tactile paving grids embedded with sensors. These could provide more dynamic information than traditional tactile surfaces, potentially indicating the direction of the crosswalk or warning of a temporary obstacle ahead. Furthermore, this smart infrastructure is designed to interact with the next generation of smart vehicles, creating a communication loop where cars are made aware of pedestrians waiting to cross, significantly reducing the risk of accidents at complex intersections. This evolution in urban design represents a significant step towards creating truly inclusive public spaces. By embedding technology directly into the environment, these cities are building a system that is universally beneficial. A safer, more predictable pedestrian experience helps children, older adults, and anyone who is momentarily distracted, while providing a revolutionary layer of information and security for blind travelers. It empowers independent travel, making it easier and less stressful to explore a city, commute to work, or simply run errands. This is a powerful example of how thoughtful public investment in technology can directly enhance the quality of life and foster greater independence for all citizens. If you could design one piece of smart technology to be installed on the sidewalks in your city, what would it do? We'd love to hear them. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
All right quick. I apologize, Elizabeth. I forgot to mention that she has commented in the comments as well. We've already answered the questions she were asking, but but anyway, I'm sorry, Elizabeth. So thank you for coming in and commenting today.
Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning, Elizabeth.
These, I can't wait on something like this. I mean, for me, in my mind, the possibilities become endless. Once you start integrating this, this technology into the cities. Now, please don't do us the way you've done us with these audible signals, because they're not everywhere. I mean, they're just not. I mean, and more often than not, they're in places. I mean, I'm going to say that they're never needed, because they're always needed, but more often than not, they're not in the places where we really need them. They're more in the more metropolitan areas, more, heavy traffic areas, and stuff like that. But once you get into, residential and stuff like that, or, like Paul was saying the other day when we were talking about some of this stuff, he's been fighting with his folks out there in the city where he lives, trying to get one right outside the community that he lives in, and to get to the bus stop or get over to the shopping center. We got a big old Victoria Gardens shopping center right there. A lot of entertainment, a lot of stores, all this kind of stuff that we want to do. We want to go over there. So again, having this type of technology, I think is, man, great. And the fact that it's going to integrate, especially with, like we're talking about in this first article, right? Imagine that now it's communicating with that smart car, right? That autonomous vehicle, and letting know, hold on, stop. There's somebody in the sidewalk,
Mm-hmm.
or in the crosswalk, whatever, all this different kind of stuff. Being able to, give a signal to where it keeps us where we're walking straight across and staying within the perimeters of the crosswalk, because me myself, like I said, I veered to the right and I have walked out of that crosswalk on many occasions. Just thank God that everybody was stopped at the light, so I didn't have to worry about getting run over. But kind of pissed off a couple of people when I'm tapping on their car with my cane, trying to work my way around it. But you know, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So,
Hmm.
but something
Right.
like this is just, man, it would help us out. I mean, imagine if they had it going down the sidewalk, right? And not only is it, telling you which way you're going, but now it's telling you what stores you're passing as you go by, and so on and so
Mm-hmm.
forth. I mean, it just, to me, the opportunity here, endless. I mean, there's just so much potential with this type of technology. So, again, I can't wait on it. Man, hurry up! I want it. You know, go
I
for it,
mean,
Kevin.
I hear you, and I'm with you on that too. Because for me, I don't know about anybody else, but when I'm out there and I'm walking, trying to get where I need to go, especially if it is raining. Every day is not a sunny, beautiful day. And when it's raining, when I hear vehicles on wet pavement, it just sounds different and it kind of throws everything off. So if I can have something to tell me exactly when it's time to go and I'm on the right path. I'm not, because they make things so much easier for individuals that are disabled in wheelchairs, but it veers me into the street. And I have to be real careful when I'm out there. My cane skills are pretty good, but sometimes the pavement is just not always that welcoming. Not in my area. And most of the places where I travel, sometimes it's not even concrete, it's grass. And if it's raining, it's mud. So I just have to make sure I dress appropriately. But things sound different. So if something like this can come to a neighborhood like mine, oh my God, I would be out everywhere, could hear these things through now, because I would use be my eyes at that particular time. Now, I've been gifted with these beautiful metas. So if I could get all of this in my ears and still, hold my umbrella and my cane and be able to just maneuver and go through and just make my best life possible. Oh, hurry up. Like you said, Ed. I can't wait. Come on with
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true. Technology mixed with even the environmental. Like I'm used to those tactile dots, the ones they have at the corner now with the
it.
yellow
Hmm.
little tactile dots and stuff that let you know you about to go into the street.
Right.
Well, we need those in the crosswalks now too. There's countries that have them on the on the on the street, so you won't veer into the street, so you could guide
Hmm.
yourself across. That with the technology, like Ed said, imagine walking by a store and then your Bluetooth speaker or your metas or your headphones tell you you're at JC Penney or you're at Starbucks. Front
Hmm.
door is 30 feet away, 20 feet away, 5 feet away, 1 feet away. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
imagine that. Imagine being in the store. You have two exits. You have an exit on your 11 o'clock and one at your 6 o'clock. And you
Oh
could
wow.
decide, where can I go? Oh, let me go out this way. Imagine a resort telling you, you're coming to the elevator. Follow this hallway, and the elevator is down the hall to your left. Imagine not always calling the front desk.
Hmm.
Imagine finding the exit of a resort where you're at. You know,
Well,
this
a lot
could
of people don't realize casinos are designed not to make the doors easy to find. They want to, and they keep it where you don't see daylight because they don't want you to know what time it is. You'll never,
Right.
there are no visible clocks anywhere in any casino. Okay, they don't
Mm.
Thank
want
God we have a phone now. Thank God we have phones and watches.
Right?
you.
To where
So
you like, shoot, I got to get out of here.
but again, all this type of technology, man, I can remember when we did our very, very first walk a mile, we were
Hmm.
actually advocating down in the city of Claremont where we did it. A lady came and showed us they had a new kind of tactile strip. It was more of a, it had a sticky back on it that you could place down on the ground or whatever. It wasn't like the tactile strips that you find at in the parking lots or, at the edge of the platforms or even
But
when
it's
you're
something.
walking up, again, this is something that you could put down per se, put it on that white line in the crosswalk, right? Right on the
Hmm.
edge. And then,
Hmm.
over time, you're going to keep painting over it anyway, right? But it still gives us a tactile surface to follow, right?
Right.
Hmm.
In cities again, like Claremont, they small sidewalks per se, you know what I'm saying? Well, more small storefronts. So some of the cafes and stuff like that, now they got tables out on the sidewalk next to the curb. But if we had this or even the tactile strip we were advocating for at that time, put it down the middle of the sidewalk. For me, it's going to serve two purposes. Number one, it's going to serve the purpose of giving me a path to follow so I'm not bumping into people while they are dining al fresco. Number one. Number two, having that thing right down the middle of the sidewalk, I mean, it kind of separates it where you got, the left lane and the right lane. And think about this. How many people are annoyed by kids going up and down the sidewalk on their sidewalk on their skateboards and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to stop them from doing all of that. They'd have to stay to one side or the other. It'd
Mm-hmm.
be a little rough jumping over them the little tactile strip. Not that the bumps are that big, but I think it would throw the skateboard off a little bit. But again, the main goal here is trying to make navigation and mobility easier for us in the community and make it so where we're able to get about and able to live our independent life, able to find the stores or businesses. Imagine if I'm trying to make my way to the real estate agent so I can pay the mortgage or the rent on my house. You know what I'm saying? I need
Hmm.
to find a way to get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's the way I got to do it. I mean, there's so many different
Yeah.
reasons to have this. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes. And skateboarding, guys, is mainstream. Skateboarding is a way of transportation now. I see like skateboarding is a good way of transportation. I see a lot of young people utilizing skateboarding, and I see them utilizing biking too. But I know a lot of people don't like the skateboards, but it's cool. I'm like, let them do their thing. Let them travel that way. Sometimes
Well,
I don't want
the
to spend
problem
all
is
that.
a lot of these folks do not have respect for the pedestrians when they're using these things, and that's
Right.
the issue. And then when you talk about us, all we hear is a skateboard coming. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So what do? We just supposed to stop and freeze and let till it goes by? I mean, again,
Well,
you
I'm
know,
having to go around me. I see, you know what I mean?
I
Some
got that
warn me,
part.
some
That's
won't.
my whole point. So every time you hear a skateboarder, are you going to keep walking or are you going to stop until it goes
I'll
around you?
keep walking because they could see me. They could stop and go around me. You know what I mean?
But again, you got a lot of these entitled generation nowadays that just think that they own the sidewalk and you're in their way, right? So, I mean, that's a
I've
whole
seen
nother
that with more
conversation.
So
pedestrians.
they're
I
banned
see
in
that
certain
with
areas. Actually,
pedestrians.
they're banned in certain areas down
Yeah.
here
Hmm.
because
They are. They are in some
because
places.
of that fact. Because a lot of people are trying to navigate wherever they're even visual, and then here they come. So it's certain times that they can come downtown, and it's generally after midnight when nobody's down there, and they flock because the concrete is even and things of that sort. But uh having something tactile like that would be absolutely wonderful. I mean, we
Mhm.
need that.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not saying that it's not an efficient mode of transportation. I'm not saying that the bicycle isn't, but one thing about it, bicycles ain't up on that sidewalk. Okay, most bicycles now are in the street. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that it's always, a good thing for them to do, but again, in the cities, in the inner urban areas, more than, and in the suburbs, like you say, there's not skateboards and bicycles are not allowed up on the sidewalk, right? I mean, in the residential areas, of course, I don't want my 6-year-old child out there, my 5-year-old child, whatever, just learning how to ride a bicycle. I don't want them out in the middle of the street. Whether
Or
they're
my
learning,
50-year-old
Oh
with the
no,
crazy
no,
drivers. I wouldn't want them on the street.
no,
right?
And
Well,
no.
then
in
that's what I mean. I
residential
don't
areas, I see
and,
them speed. I see cars speed down residential
and,
areas that I
But
wouldn't like my child
And
on the
I,
street
and I
with a
might have said it
skateboard.
wrong, but I'm not saying I want them in the street in a residential area. I wouldn't want my child out there like that, whether they're learning to ride a bike or a skateboard, either way. But at the same time, when you in a business area, a commerce area where all the stores and all, a lot of pedestrian traffic, then we got to have some sort of a restriction to where these people are not interfering with the people. But again, like I said, that's a whole nother conversation. So.
but have you noticed? I mean, just real quick, have you noticed that the skateboard and the bike has become lazy because you got a remote control for the skateboard now, and the bike is electric? What happened to us actually just using our legs and pumping?
Hey, this is cool though,
Technology,
Carol.
technology,
You
Perry,
want to know why?
technology, Carol. So
You
that's
want to
what
know
that is.
why? Let's say we travel a long time, and then you need a rest between. I could cock up the motor and let it do its thing until I'm good and rested, and could keep going for miles. I used to drive miles on my bike. I used to, when I got
Yeah,
my bike, I
I
was gone.
I
I
got
would
my
go through the
thighs from my
beach. Oh
bike,
my
baby, and
god!
they nice. Come on.
Okay, before we get off into a whole nother conversation, we already passed our time slot here, so we're gonna keep it pushing. And again, come out tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Hang out with George, with Zavala, and learn a little bit more about this new technology called Guide. Again, it'll help you out a lot with your computer. If you're on the computer a lot, navigating websites and stuff that are inaccessible, this is a tool that can really, really help you. So, anyway, man, please like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, all that other good stuff. We say it every day. Maybe I need to say it in the beginning. I try to catch you before we get out of here, so at least you can try to do it before we leave, right? But please, it really, really does help to get this information out there. And we got one more day of this week left. So we'll be back with you folks again tomorrow. So everybody have a great day, and we'll see you on TGIF. Have a great one. All right.